Hello there, my name is Quarbit, or Carter if you'd prefer. I am a Paradox YouTuber, maybe not the biggest one in the entire world, but I'm definitely trying to make my way somewhere around there. And let's talk about the new changes to COPPA and how they're going to affect our dear, small, little, tight-knit community, because we don't have a lot of us. So, if anything happens to the big ones of us, then we're pretty much gone, scattered into the wind like particles of dust, because we can't do anything if anything happens to us. So basically, if you're not aware of what COPPA is, which at this point there are a lot of videos about it, I'd be kind of concerned if you weren't aware of it, but just in case you are not, COPPA is the Child Online Privacy Protection Act or agency, one of those two things, that is based in the United States of America. Now basically, what COPPA does is it sort of has to say, if you have children that are watching your video, people, I think it said 12 and under, pretty much, you're not allowed to have targeted ads. Targeted ads roughly represent maybe 80 to 90% of a YouTuber's income on their channel generally. So that kind of creates a bit of an issue. Clearly that's going to create a couple of problems. But you'd normally think, well, we're the Paradox community. We play games about war and politics. Clearly, we're fine. We're fine, right, guys? We're fine, right, guys? No, we're not. We like to think we are. We like to think a little bit sometimes that we're above the rest of these little demonetized plebeians and stuff like that, because somehow we weave ourselves around, except for Hoi4. Hoi4 is getting a little, ask Alex the Rambler about that one. But essentially, Paradox is going to have to, the Paradox community is going to have to hit a new hurdle coming in about 37 days. Because COPPA decided, we're going to apply this new algorithm. They're doing it with bots, by the way, which is reasonable. There's no way they can't not use bots. There are just billions, maybe even a trillion videos on YouTube. There's no way they can't use bots. So that's kind of reasonable. Unfortunately, the thing about bots is they are awful at their jobs. If we've learned anything about the copyright system, about the demonetization system, about pretty much everything else that YouTube has done wrong in the past 3 to 4, maybe 6 years, I don't know, we know that their bots are awful. These new bots, however, aren't actually YouTube's. These bots are going to be set up by the US government. Now, the US government, which is a foreign government to me, by the way, is going to be probably using bots made by the lowest bidder, which is pretty much says they'll hire a technology company to do it for them, and that technology company will probably bid the lowest possible amount to get the job done. Which is just how, construction and stuff like that works. If you want something done, the government will pay you as little as they possibly can. So that's just how it is. Now, before I talk about what actually happens to us Paradox Interactive community members, let's talk about what happens if your video is, hit by the system, let's just say. So what happens is you get to set your video to either child-friendly or not child-friendly. Pretty much my entire channel, I get to automatically set every video to not child-friendly, or at least not geared towards children. We'll talk about that later. That'll be a lot of fun. Essentially, if the system looks at your video and thinks that you are lying, you have a chance to get hit with a grand total fine of up to 42,000 US dollars, which in my currency would be approximately 56,000 Canadian dollars. Now that is a hell of a lot more than I make every single year. Clearly I am a, very close to 5,000 subscriber channel, and on average I get maybe 5,000 to 6,000 views a day. I am not making $56,000 a year, and I definitely cannot pay $56,000 per video. I upload once, at least, sometimes twice every single day, and I have for the past, say, year or something. I have racked over 600 videos, I think. Not even sure. Probably less than that. Maybe 400. I don't know. In any case, if they decide that even 10 of those, I could get hit with something that could make me go homeless. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. So basically, your only alternative to, let's say the content that you make is by the system deemed child-friendly. If you choose to go ahead with that, what happens to your said videos? Well, here's the funny part. Essentially, 1, they don't end up on the search recommendations. Basically, if your video is searched for, even if they type in the full title there, all the tags, everything that would make it pop up, it doesn't exist. It's essentially unlisted, it's invisible, it's just not there. Okay, that's first of all. Second of all, it does not show up in the recommended. So even if someone does not search for your video, and it's very likely they would want to watch your video, too bad, because it's never going to show up in the recommended box. So there you go. Not there. Your video is pretty much, it's unlisted. It doesn't exist. Third of all, even if you have, say, everyone has subscribers, the diehard fans, I have them, everyone, pretty much every YouTuber has diehard fans that watch everything they make. That's great, that's wonderful, and of course we appreciate all of you. The thing is, though, you don't get notifications either. That's right. It's not listed in the search algorithm. It's not recommended. And even the people who want to watch them don't get notifications. The only way you can find these videos is to go into your favorite YouTuber's channel and actually select it yourself, because you will not find it in any other possible way. No notifications, you won't find it in your recommendations, it won't be in your search terms, it'll be nowhere. Literally nowhere. It might as well just be private. So let's say that you actually do end up having something like this. You'll get probably around a 50th of the views you normally do, because a lot of those come from recommendations and from search terms, at least mine do, generally. So you're going to lose probably around, let's say, 95% of your viewership, okay? That's a rough estimate. Not only that, but the video itself does not get the ads, the targeted ads, the golden value of advertisement no longer exists on that video, which is 80 to 90% of that video's revenue, I might like to add. So you're getting, let's say, 2 to 5% of the viewership you normally get. And you're also getting, let's say, 10% of the ad revenue you normally get. So let's do some quick math here. So we get 10% of 5%, that's roughly, I'd say, 0.5% of your actual regular revenue per video. That cripples people. That puts people into financial crises, okay? That can literally delete an entire organization overnight, basically. And that's without the fines, by the way. Because if they find out you're lying, of course, you're also paying the $42,000 US dollar fine there, which is a lot of fun. And maybe you might even get your channel terminated. Who knows? You might actually lose your entire lifelong career over a few videos that you put up and you accidentally clicked the wrong button even. Who knows? It might even happen. Now that was pretty long-winded about what it actually is. Let's talk about why it might even hit the Paradox community. And you're going to love this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so stick around for the few seconds here as I transition to my screen. Okay, so welcome to the COPPA. The whole thing here, it's a very long page, a very long article. Kind of, it's not an article, it's just a big document here. Very long, obviously. We're not going to talk about the whole thing because clearly it's just not going to work. All right. What we're really looking for is, so basically what we're looking at here is Appendix B, or whatever part of this whole thing is, which is what kind of is the guidelines for what they think is content that is for children 12 and under. Okay. Now, first of all, let's dispel the rumor that you think Paradox games are safe. Let's get that right out the window, okay? It's very much entirely possible it's not, just because of how algorithms work and how YouTube's algorithms work. And if we get an algorithm even worse than YouTube's, you better bet the platform is going to collapse. So, anyway, let's take a look at what they believe is subject matter intended for appealing to children, okay? And that's this little paragraph down here. We're going to read this carefully, very slowly, very carefully, identify every single piece of evidence we have here. This is all we have to go off of, by the way. This is the information we have to figure out our entire livelihoods around for the future. So, subject matter that is appealing to children, okay? Kids' jokes. Okay, sure, fine. Music, that is a very, very blanket term. I have music in the background of my videos. Is that for children? Am I going to get kicked by this system? Who knows? Maybe, I don't know, we'll find out. Kids games, well, I don't really generally have kids games, that's totally fine. So let's say you're playing, I don't know, does Monopoly count as a kids game? So there you go, board game channels, you guys are out, sorry about that. Next we have the most important one, video/computer games. Video/computer games, that's it, that's the whole description we get here. Okay, note that there is no children's nor kids description in front of video/computer games. It's just not there. So let's say, alright, let's say I have a Call of Duty gaming channel here, right? We're going around sniping people cross-map. We're getting, I don't know, 360 no-scopes, COD stuff. I used to play COD. I don't know. I never did any of those things. I was never good enough. Anyway, let's say you're playing a COD channel. Does that count as children content now? Does it count? Because it's a, it's a video/computer game. Call of Duty, well, that fits that description, doesn't it? That sounds about right to me. Now let's apply this. Let's apply this little description to Paradox games. Well, Paradox, it's a company that creates video games. Oh, hold on, we're already there. They create video games, and I create videos on video games. So, by this subject matter, very vague context that we've been given here, I am going to get hit by this system. Is that right? Does that sound right to me? That sounds right to me by the description you just gave here. Whether you're playing Stardew Valley or you're playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, it does not matter because that is a video/computer game. You might get hit by the system. There's no identification here. There's absolutely nothing to tell us whether or not the game that we're playing is okay or not. And that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because I think the way this system is going to work, I really hope I'm wrong here. Honestly, I hope I am the most incorrect person to ever speak words today on this whole planet, okay? But honestly, I believe the system is going to use the classification that YouTube does for content. And if you don't know what that is, essentially, every time you look at a video game YouTube video, obviously, you're gonna see down there it has the game that they're currently playing in the description. That's something you have to add yourself. But the only thing you can do to make that possible is to classify your content as gaming, okay? You have to swap your little tab and say, yes, this little video that we're uploading here, it is gaming, and then you can type underneath that what game you are currently playing. If my hypothesis is correct, they will use that system to flag gaming channels. Gaming is potentially dead on the entire platform. The only thing that was kind of left, and even so it was dying, it's gonna get hit. It's gonna get hit hard, and it's not gonna be fun. Because if Minecraft channels, it doesn't matter how many times you swear in a video, too bad, you're getting hit. Let's say you're playing Pokemon, right? Yeah, dude, I'm gonna play the next Pokemon. Like, it's out already, I'm gonna buy it, okay? And I'm a grown man, well, not fully grown, but I am a legal adult, and I'm still going to be playing Pokemon. Does that mean that all Pokemon videos are going to get hit? Well, obviously, the game is rated E for everyone, I'm pretty sure, or even children 10 and up, which is below 12 and under. 10 is below 12, so clearly they're going to get hit as well. Now, that's sort of the obvious stuff, but when it comes to Paradox games, we're declaring war on people, we're doing politics, we're fighting people. We're literally using tanks mowing down people in Hearts of Iron 4. We are invading and annexing and changing religions of countries in EU4 and in Imperator. We're just creating empires out of the blood and slave labor, okay? I don't really see if that's good content for children to watch. However, the system just doesn't matter, because they just throw the blanket on there and they're like, well, good enough. If it's a game, it's for children. And that is the most destructive thing I could possibly think of, to say that all blank are for kids. Everyone says, at least a lot of people I know of, or at least a few, have said things like, oh, anime is for children, and you look at things that literally have the most gore and violence I've ever seen in a TV show, more than most live action things even. And, they'd still say it's for kids, they're stubborn and stuff like that. But now they're applying that to video games. Video games are a spectrum. They're absolutely a spectrum. And Paradox has been in the middle there, a very safe area, for several years. It still is. That's why I'm able to make money still. Because, it's not mature enough to warrant being demonetized, but, it's also not child-friendly enough that we have generally, people under the age of 12 going and ruining our comment section or just being annoying and stuff, when this is a game that we like to think is for intellectuals, at least. Well, not really. We're all kind of special on the inside here, aren't we? Special kind of people play Paradox games. We're kind of weird, but yeah, so that's the subject matter. We might get hit, we might not, we'll see. Next we have presentation, language and stuff like that. Clearly, I'm 18, so I use a lot of things that are quote-unquote hip, cool to the kids, guys. Maybe the older people that watch my videos think I'm just really whack, and maybe that's why I'm still roughly at 5K. But anyway, language that I often use are things like, oh, that's neat, oh, that's cool, or, or that was fun, that was a fun adventure we just had right there. Am I gonna get hit for saying stuff like that? Because that's stuff I say in real life. Believe it or not, that is stuff I just say. It's just a phrase I use every now and then. It's used as sarcasm a lot of the time, yes, but, if the algorithm does not identify tone, it doesn't. It can't do that. We don't really have the ability to do that except for, say Siri, you can ask it a question, it knows the inflection of your voice, stuff like that. But when you have a bot system that is made by a government, okay, it's not for profit, it's not intended to work for the creators, it's not meant to be used for us, for our good intentions. It might just flag when you say the word fun too much, or if you say cool too much, or I don't even know. I don't even understand. And by the way, I just want to say a lot of these things that are like, language that's kids only, this is obviously really old stuff, 98. I don't see why free stuff is like, everyone loves free stuff. Why is that a child term? That makes no sense. Also, I just want to point out, whoever made this document is a little bit dumb. Why'd you put the comma in between these two paragraphs? I don't know, is that a legal thing? Because that just sounds stupid to me. Anyway, enough about that. But yeah, the word games also shows up here. I just want to point out that my channel name is Quarbit Gaming. Just gonna let that sit there for a second. Just let it seep in just a little bit. Are we good now? You see how this might hit a couple of us now? The word games, war games, strategy games, simulation games, or just simulation. Maybe the word simulation is fine. We're gonna call Paradox Interactive titles, we're gonna call them simulations now, because if we use the word games, we're gonna get hit with a hefty, well for me, $56,000 fine per video, which is a lot of fun. A lot of the stuff is also like visual content, so animated characters, there goes the unit models, bolder fast moving graphics. Unfortunately, if you're just too fast at invading Russia and Hoi 4 as Germany, then there goes your channel. Or bright and vibrant colors. Unfortunately, we happen to have something called a map, and we use colors to identify nations. So, who knows, does that count? I don't know. There's nothing for us to go off of here, except for the most old, outdated, and unspecific things I can possibly think of. You can clearly tell this was made by someone at least above the age of 65. This entire document, or whoever, this has just got to be a team of boomers, honestly. Because you look at this, and no offense to people who are actually chill and are part of the boomer thing. I don't know how many of you guys watch my videos, honestly. Why would you listen to an 18-year-old talk about games? But anyway, clearly this has got to be something that's got to be a boomer thing. There's no way. There's no way this could be made by someone who grew up even playing Nintendo games. Because you have no idea what you're talking about. And, this is all allegedly, okay, but I heard from, other people making videos on the same subject, not Paradox, but COPPA, that there was an interview that they had with some of the people who, I don't know if they made the whole guidelines or whatever, they don't even own cell phones. Some of them they just don't even have cell phones. I think that speaks quite a bit to a lot of things. If you weren't worrying now, then maybe you should be worrying. People who don't even own cell phones are making rules about what videos online people should be allowed to advertise on. Just gonna put that out there, okay? That's pretty much all I have to say. That's my final remark. That's the whole thing. So basically, if you aren't worried yet about whether or not Paradox is going to be hit, I don't want to start fear-mongering, but I'm just saying, if you're a content creator like me, let's say you're like a Roomba, or you're like my new friend, Chewy Shoot, who's also making videos about the same kind of things as me, you might want to get just a little bit worried, plan for the future is all I have to say. I'm definitely going to have to figure something out soon. YouTube occasionally changes some of your videos to child-friendly to try and help you. YouTube is getting hit the hardest about this. The company itself, it can die. It can die really easily. Because even though you have to technically be 13 or over to sign up for YouTube in their terms of service, they also went around boasting that they're the largest platform for people between the ages of 12 and 10. Good job, YouTube. You really messed that one up. So YouTube had to pay the massive fine, and then they just moved on to us. And if we start disappearing off the map, YouTube stops making money. So everyone involved in this situation is not having fun. That's all I can say. And whether or not I will exist next year, we'll find out, because I might be living on the streets, home in a cardboard box, alone, begging for money to try and pay off my debt or my fine to the US government. Anyways, this is Quarbit signing off, apparently losing $56,000 per video, and as always, have a fantastic day.